It's that time of year, guys. We've set our goals, we're determined, we're dreaming big, and nothing is gonna stop us this year, right? Well, what about next week? Or the week after? Statistics show that 40% of people quit their goals by mid-January, and then 80% of people, 80, quit by February. And unfortunately, for many, many years, I have been a part of that statistic. But this year, it's gonna be different. So let's talk about how we can make our dreams into a reality. So before we get to my 5 tips, we have to understand first why people fail. And there are so many reasons that vary from person to person, but the top 3 reasons why I struggle with reaching my goals are, number 1, not really understanding why I even set these goals, which leads to, losing motivation. Have you ever set a goal just because you felt like you should? And I feel like this happens to a lot of people subconsciously because of societal pressures. The second reason why I struggle with my goals is when I don't feel a sense of progress. Personally, for me, it's really hard to keep working at something when I don't feel like I'm progressing or advancing, because at some point it just feels like it's impossible to reach, and then it's like, what's the point, And the last reason why I struggle with reaching my goals is that sometimes I set goals that just feel too big or too new, and because of that it feels really scary because it's hard to know what to do to get to that point. As a Virgo rising, I take my goal setting very, very seriously. But alas, even the most meticulous of us can fail. But in all seriousness, in all of my years of planning, and believe me, I have a lot of years worth of planning, I have found there are 5 things that have consistently kept me on track in reaching my goals, and so I want to share them with you. So the first tip is setting goals that align with your values. Now, this is a new one for me that I learned just this past year in therapy, and it honestly makes so much sense. I was shook. I've talked about this in a previous video, so I won't get too into it, but essentially I used to set goals that I felt like I had to set, and that just made it so much harder to dedicate time and energy towards it because I didn't understand why I even had this goal, and it didn't feel like it was something I truly wanted. And for some of you, this might be the hardest tip to implement, especially if you're not clear on what your values are, because it's gonna take some time to sit down and really figure them out. My therapist literally had to hold my hand through this entire process, and it was kind of rough, but it was very eye-opening to see and realize what my values were and seeing how parts of my life did or did not align with them. And it just made me understand why there are parts of my life that I was unhappy with. And once you figure all of this out, it is so much easier to set goals that align with you and your life. And when things align, it's easier to dedicate time and energy to these things. So if you take anything away from this video, please let it be this tip. My second tip is to write down your goals or say them out loud. So I personally believe in the power of words, whether you write it down or you say it out loud. I think doing those things can really bring something into existence. So of course, if you want something to happen, you gotta make sure you say it out into the universe, let it know that you want that thing. And then to take it a step further, I would tell every single person that you know and see that you're trying to achieve this thing. That way, at the very least, you're gonna be held accountable by outside parties. And if there's one thing that I am not, is that I am not going to feel or look like a failure in someone else's eyes. And that might not be the healthiest motivation, but it works and it keeps me working until I reach that goal. So my third tip is to reward yourself. I used to be someone who thought that rewards were meant for the end, for achieving the final thing, but sometimes you just need a little sweet treat to help keep you going. Now I'm really not above treating myself for every little single achievement. In fact, I am not above treating myself like a freaking dog. Okay, hear me out. Listen to this story. I got a story to tell you. So last year, I had decided that I wanted to become a morning gym girly, but because I have a 9 to 5, I had to get to the gym really freaking early to make it to my 9 to 5 on time. And I had decided this in the winter, and if you are a normal person that loves their sleep like I do, you know how hard it is to wake up in the wintertime because it is still dark at freaking 7 p.m. And so because I had to wake up at 5 to get to the gym, I started doing everything that I could to help me wake up at that time. That means that I would go to sleep at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. That meant I don't even know. It meant a lot of things. It was hard, okay? And yet, after all of that, I still could not, for the life of me, wake up at 5 a.m. So I did what any sane person would do and think, how can I train myself? Then I thought about Pavlov and his dog experiments. And I was like, wait, what if I reward myself every morning with a yummy, delicious energy drink? And so the next day, when my alarm rang at 5 a.m. and I was about to hit the snooze button, a little voice in my head was like, but wait, there is that yummy, delicious Celsius waiting for you in the fridge. And I was like, ooh, good point. And that got me up so freaking fast. From then on, I slowly trained, or, rewarded myself, if you don't like to hear that you're training yourself, to wake up and hit the gym. And now I'm a morning gym girly. I might have like an energy drink problem, but that's okay. We can work on that later. The point of that story is that sometimes when things are a little too hard, maybe you just need to reward yourself to keep going. This next tip is to track your progress. So there are some studies that show that when you feel a sense of progress or advancement in something, it actually helps boost motivation and your mental health around that idea, subject, thing that you're working towards. Especially when it's a really large goal and you're kind of in it for the long haul, it's hard to keep going when you don't feel any sense of improvement. And so what I like to do is to use trackers. So my favorite tracker to use are habit trackers to show, daily consistency. You can also use calendars or like a check-off list, because everyone loves crossing things off lists. And even one of those like color into your like full kind of progress lists, anything that will visually show you that you are making progress towards something. My last tip is to just have fun. Make it fun, make it a game, because goals aren't always fun. In fact, I don't ever think there was a goal that's actually been fun. In fact, a lot of them suck and they're kind of boring and they require a lot of hard work. Something like that is rarely ever motivating, especially when you feel like you're in a rut. So my tip is to gamify it. For example, one of my goals this year is to pay off my debt, and believe me, that is not fun in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna try to make it fun by either, putting in the amounts I pay off in a bingo card maybe, or maybe I'll turn it into a progress tracker, but it's still gonna be cute and kind of game-like, the way Asia Dang does her financial tracking. I don't know if that's gonna help, but I feel like it's better than just looking at my credit card balance, because I don't want to. Okay, so I know that might have been a lot. And I know this is that time of year when we're all very motivated and determined and we want to be the best version of ourselves, and I want all of us to get there together. So I really hope that this video was helpful in some shape, way, or form. But I also want you to remember to not take everything too seriously. Life is way too short for that. And to remember that it's all about progress and not the end goal. So just have fun in the process. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what your goals for this year are. I would love to hear. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you would like to see more of me, I would be so honored if you would hit the subscribe button. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye!